Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Fastlane review for tonight, Sunday, February 22nd, 2015, live from the FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. The last stop, the last pay-per-view before Wrestlemania. Now, before I get to reviewing Fastlane, I haven't made a video in a couple days, and I need to at least make my comments known about one of the biggest wrestling news overall of the week. Of course, I know this is a WWE review, but I have to make some sort of comment and my thoughts about Samoa Joe leaving TNA and rumors flying by him joining WWE as part of NXT. Santa Joe's leaving TNA. It's been a very good part of TNA. Man, the TNA's losing a lot of guys. A lot of originals have left. You know, AJ's gone, Daniels has gone, now Joe's gone. A big part of TNA. And he's been booked pretty well in the BDC. So it's kind of sad to see him going to BDC going so well. It's going to be tricky to see how it goes because these last couple of impacts, Joe's been on him before he got released, before he left. It was amicable. And if Joe goes on to WWE, it'd be intriguing to see how he does in WWE. You know, Rhino's back in WWE. I hear Brian Kendrick's back in WWE. Bully Ray came back recently. A lot of TNA guys are back in WWE. So we'll see if Joe will do well in WWE. But let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about Fastlane. Now, tonight's pay-per-view, most of the matches tonight served one purpose in the segments too. Served one purpose. Setting up WrestleMania. There was only 2 good matches on this entire card. I think we should know that this pay-per-view was not going to deliver much great matches. Like I said, the purpose of this pay-per-view was all about setting up WrestleMania. A lot of matches were set tonight. A couple of challenges were made. A return happened that we've been finally waiting for the last 3 months, as you see by my subtitle. But we did have one big significant moment tonight. We did crown new champs tonight. So, there you go with that. 6.5 out of 10. For this pay-per-view, like I said, there was 2 good matches. Like 2 really good matches. The rest of the card was like, okay. A couple screwy endings in there. But most of those screwy endings served the purpose to set up their match at WrestleMania. A lot of matches ended on screwy endings that may have rematches at WrestleMania. But at least they served their purpose. Hyping up WrestleMania. That's what this entire pay-per-view was all about. The prelude to WrestleMania. Now, of course, the pre-show, we didn't have a match during the pre-show like we usually do. Instead, we had Miz TV. Speaking of building towards WrestleMania, Miz's, once again, is slaving of Sandow continued. As Sandow was forced in the corner despite many fans chanting for him as Paul Heyman, his guest, was talking. Talking about, of course, the big main event this evening involving Bryan and Roman Reigns. The winner would, of course, go on to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And Paul Heyman's like, I don't care who wins and who loses. Brock Lesnar will destroy either one of them. So that was Miz TV tonight. Now on to the main card, the pay-per-view itself. Kicking off with a 6-man tag. I kind of predicted this tag team title, this 6-man tag on my Raw review on Monday. But I was half right on who they were going to face. I predicted that Ryback, Rowan, Erik and Dolph Ziggler would take on Seth Rollins and J&J Security. Well, J&J Security were not in the match. Instead, it was Rollins teaming up with Kane and Big Show against the aforementioned 3 guys. But it ended up being, well, kind of 5-on-3, as of course J&J Security were at ringside. And they did come in various points of the matchup in helping, specifically Rollins, who called out Jon Stewart earlier in the week, but no sign of that. It may happen later. It'll be intriguing to see Jon Stewart actually get into a confrontation with Seth Rollins. I don't know. Jon Stewart was a Wwe Wrestling fan. A fun opener. Decent opener to open up the pay-per-view tonight. Ziggler came in like a house of fire, but then Rowan got tagged. The majority of the match was Rowan getting isolated in the corner and just getting pummeled by all 3 guys, specifically Big Show and Kane, just really annihilating on Rowan. until Rowan got the hot tag to Ryback. Ryback came in like a house of fire. Like a man possessed. Use any analogy you want. Coming with his flashy moves. I hope that he faces Rusev one day, which I'll get to in a second. So, as Ryback was giving a bit of aggressive moves, coming with his big, he was going for the meat hook, but he got counted. And then all the guys got in the ring, and Rollins got in, and he got shell-shocked for his helping by Ryback. And then the pin got broken up. And Dolph was the legal guy. Dolph was the legal guy. After Ryback came in, Dolph got in. Like, Dolph was pummeled outside the ring, and he came back up. He got the tag from Ryback. He came in like a house of fire. His tornado DDT move was cool. And of course, he famousered Rollins after Rollins got shell-shocked. And as the referee got distracted by throwing Rollins out of the ring, Kane was the legal guy. Rollins came in to break the count. Like I said, Rollins got famousered. As Rollins got famousered, and the referee was distracted with getting Rollins out of the ring, the referee did not see Big Show knockout Dolph Ziggler, giving Kane the advantage to choke slam the hell out of an unconscious Dolph Ziggler, and the 1-2-3 victory for the Authority. So the Authority won after that. Little help from Big Show behind the referee's back. The Authority started beating down on all three guys for a post-match beatdown. Beating up on Ryback, beating up on Rowan, beating up on Ziggler. And the chance for on. Randy Orton. There was all these positions, all these situations of the Authority beatdown that would have allowed an Orton return to come in and save the day. We've all known that Randy Orton's been making a movie. He's been out since Survivor Series. Before Survivor Series got laid out by Rollins to make a movie. And he might have been supposed to come back by the Rumble, but he already got injured before he was scheduled to come back before the Rumble. So, we're waiting for Orton for months. New shirt came out, all came out of nowhere. And the fans knew that Randy Orton should come back in time for a match at WrestleMania, possibly against Rollins. And the seeds for that match came to fruition tonight after this. During the beatdown, the fans were chanting for Randy. And here he comes after 3 months away, should I say. Randy Orton made his return to save the day, knocking out everybody in RKO frenzy. He RKO'd someone from midair. He RKO'd everybody. So, and Rollins almost got Hangman DDT on the apron, in the middle rope like Orton always does. But Kane and Big Show pulled him out before Orton could nail the Hangman's DDT on Rollins. And Rollins ran out of the arena. Did not want any part of Orton. So, Orton wants revenge, because Orton was a part of the Authority. And we've seen, Orton, Rollins, like he's seen their little collision course heading towards after Hell in a Cell, heading towards Survivor Series when Rollins took him out. So he knew at some point when Orton would return from his hiatus that he would resume his feud with Rollins and heat it up to a proper match, especially when it's WrestleMania time. So that was the purpose of the post-match beatdown, to see Orton return and to see him beat down on Rollins, teasing the match at WrestleMania. So we'll see how the heat up, how it all heats up, should I say, how the build-up for this match continues on. 2.5. Decent fun opener. A great ending of the post-match ending with the Orton return to hype up his return to a match against Rollins at WrestleMania. Speaking of matches that I think will happen at WrestleMania, I did not think it was going to happen at Fastlane. Goldust and Stardust, we've known their breakup for a while. Ever since Raw and Dusty Rhodes coming in to try to mediate. And he's kind of tossed in the middle of all this, which adds more intrigue. So when I found out, I didn't know of this until tonight. I didn't know they added Gold and Stardust because I don't watch SmackDown. So I didn't know they must have added it on SmackDown on Thursday. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought this match was supposed to be at WrestleMania. They should not have it at Fastlane. They should have it at WrestleMania. Well, I was hoping for like some sort of screwy ending to get the match at WrestleMania because I don't think Goldust should end up having his last match at Fastlane. Because Goldust over here, he's retiring soon. It has been teased for years. Brother versus brother match. It should be at WrestleMania. Well, it still might be after the ending of this matchup tonight. It felt kind of awkward the first couple minutes. Because I think Goldust was he was being restrictive on not trying to hurt his brother too bad. Because he still got love for him despite, what Stardust/Cody Rhodes has done to him. And I think Stardust is finally separating himself from Goldust. Like, when Stardust came out with Goldust, he had the full face paint and the full bodysuit. But he only had, like, the half face paint today, like Ultimate Warrior does. Or did. And he had just the pants. He didn't have the full bodysuit like Goldust. Finally separating himself, making his own identity with the face paint, though. Not doing the full face paint like Goldust does. Finally separating himself from that. It started off slow and awkward at first. It just got a slow start. A little bit of grappling in there, but it's just a little bit of boring for the first half. And I was like, man, maybe this match belonged at Fastlane better than being at WrestleMania. If this was going to happen at WrestleMania, maybe it does deserve to be at Fastlane instead of being at WrestleMania. But I think it happened at WrestleMania after all with the kind of a weird ending to this matchup. Stardust was going for his big moves and all that. It was like I said, it was like kind of a rough match. Like grappling and stuff. They were fighting outside the ring at one point. But then Cody came alive with the big fly moves. He was going for Dark Matter and Crossroads. But then it's as Goldust countered the Dark Matter avoiding, he got a big punch in and rolled up Cody for the pin and the win. But it was kind of awkward because it was like kind of a weird finish. It was like straight out of nowhere. Especially the 1, 2. Referee did not count the 3. Like he did the 1, 2, ring the bell. It was like kind of a weird, kind of out of nowhere ending. So I was like, man, this match did belong at Fastlane after all. But I think, like I said, WrestleMania could be beckoning. Especially after the match with Dusty Rhodes watching. I did like when Cody Rhodes was like, who's your daddy and who's your family? It was kind of spooky matchup. That was the only fun part of the matchup. It was kind of a slow start. It got okay in the end, but that ending just... It's all setting up for the rematch at Mania. Like I said, every match, especially some of the matches, had silly endings that kind of lead to believe that the rematch is going to happen at WrestleMania, especially this one. After the matchup, Goldust said, I didn't want to hurt him too bad, but then Stardust came in. They were trying, like I said, Goldust was hesitant to fight his brother. Like he kind of like didn't have any heart in it because he didn't want to physically hurt him that bad. But now after what Stardust did after the match is whammed Goldust against one of the equipment cases and nailing a big, nasty promo on Dusty. Like a big, probably one of Cody's best promos ever. Whether as Cody or Stardust. Like I love that promo. Like, so you gave me a bag of bones with this has-been attitude era never-ending moron and live in the shadow of you. And now my own identity. So it's kind of a cool promo. Kind of an independent moment. So, and like I said, a lot of people noticed that Stardust did not wear a bodysuit. That he just wore the pants. So, like I said, might be separating yourself from Goldust from not wearing the full bodysuit like Goldust does. Making his own identity. And I believe this will be a rematch of WrestleMania, especially after the weird ending. 2.2. Just because of that weird ending. Took away some points from me. And it was a slow, rough match. It was sloppy at best, but it was just okay. But I hope the Mania match, if they have it, which looks like it will be better. And it deserves to be better. Because his brother was his brother. In the story, in the lead up to it, it's been pretty good. Especially after the match. So I hope it builds up to a big payoff at Mania. Now, there was only 2 great matches tonight. And this was one of them. My favorite match of the night. For the WWE Tag Team Championship, we have the Usos defending against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, my new favorite tag team. Now, as we all know, NXT is the best wrestling show on the planet right now. They have great divisions. But I think this match could equal some of... This is probably the only time I'm ever going to say that the tag team title match tonight on the WWE show was better than NXT's tag team title match on their most recent event. On NXT's most recent event, their NXT rival, it was Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy against the Lucha Libre stars, the Lucha Dragons. A lot of botches in that match. It's kind of a sloppy match. But this match, no mistakes at all, no botches. Great, fun tag team match. Really good. Very, very good matchup with Cesaro and Tyson really showing their potential. I've been loving these two guys as a tag team. And they looked awesome tonight. Great, strategic. They were dominant throughout the first half of the matchup with classic strategic tag team wrestling. Classic traditional wrestling, the tag team. Quick tags in and out. Isolation in the corner of Jimmy Uso. Focusing on a target. And some great double team moves that were really good. Classic tag team wrestling. Hello, Tyson Kidd. Learned from the best. He trained in the dungeon. Hot dynasty in his blood, But then the Usos, after getting isolated in the corner, Jay got the hot tag in, with Jimmy's knee being the target. And then Jay came in with a House of Fire, some great flying moves of his own. Of course, flying Uso moves and all this great action, and it just got more exciting from there. With Tyson going for a sharpshooter a few times, Cesaro doing a one-legged swing. He didn't do a full-on swing, but he's kind of like a one-legged swing. But then he was just trying to come back with a big move, super kicking moves. They were going for a super flash back at one point, but then I think Tyson was the one that was going to receive it, but he blocked it with his knees. And also, all four guys were in the ring at the same time, and one of the Usos and Cesaro knocked each other out through the middle rope. And that left Tyson Kidd in the ring against Jimmy, coming with a big fisherman's neckbreaker in the 1, 2, 3. New tag team champions. I like the Usos and all, but I wanted Cesaro and Tyson to win the tag team titles tonight. They deserve it. They've been looking good lately. Ever since the Rumble pre-show, the match against New Day looked pretty good. And the singles matches against the Usos, they pinned both guys in singles matches. They pinned them in a non-title match. And now they finally pinned them in a tag match for the titles. And they're a team to be reckoned with. They've only been together for a few months, and they deserve the tag team titles. Usos have had a great run of the tag team champions for the second time. They had a lengthy 2-month reign after defeating the tag team champions. I think the tag champs at the time were Miz and Mizdown were the champs. Who, they were the ones who defeated the Usos in the first place for the tag team titles. So, got the titles back from them in December, but now they lost them to a deserving team. They finally fulfilled their potential tonight with a great tag team match. Great showing from Cesaro and Tyson. Even if they would have lost, they looked good, but winning, they looked better. And they showed why they are the new best tag team on the main roster. And I hope there's a sign of things to come. They get more great teams from NXT to come in to equal the great tag team work of Cesaro and Kidd. 3.5 out of 5. I think it's the best match of the entire card. For sure, was this tag team affair. Great match. And deserving new champions, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. And they won clean. No cheating. So it's kind of a cool, clean finish. Congrats to Cesaro and Kidd, the new tag team champions. Now, on to, of course, one of 2 segments that were build-up matches for Wrestlemania. Of course, we had the expected, long-awaited confrontation between Triple H and Sting, or as I've been calling it for weeks, and I was right on this one, as we all know. Their build-up, the tease for the match of Wrestlemania. So Triple H came out, jeans and a leather jacket, a jean jacket, and a t-shirt. He was like, I want to apologize to Ric Flair for my actions because we had a situation with Ric Flair getting insulted and getting injured by, getting tackled pushed by Triple H. So I apologize for my actions, but I don't apologize for what I said. I am Triple H, and Ric Flair couldn't beat Sting on his best day, blah, 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 blah. I'm better at kicking Sting's ass, and I am the WWE. He's WCW. So, there you go. So he called out Sting, and Sting came out, and I like what they're doing with Sting thus far. He hasn't said a word since he came in. He does his actions do the talking. Kind of like what happened when he first debuted the Crow black and white gimmick back in '96 in WCW. He didn't speak for almost a year and a half. He let his actions do all the talking. That's kind of what WWE's trying to recreate right now with Sting coming into the company and doing the same thing he did in WCW when he first debuted the black and white face paint, not speaking, and it's working out perfectly. So Sting came out to him and like, I know why you're here, Sting. You're trying to take the WWE from me. You're trying to avenge us putting you and your company out of business. And I didn't like the way you just barged into this company without me officially agreeing upon it. Not working against me and not working with me. So let's try to work together, Sting. Put us all aside. Put away our differences and try to do business together. Because that is best for business. And Sting just stood there and never gave an answer. And Triple H is like, you want to play the hard way, buddy? We'll play the hard way. Bang! Big punch and the brawl ensued. As we would expect. Sting started brawling with Triple H. Big fight interrupted and Triple H got the upper hand for a little bit. And then Triple H went out of the ring, trying to grab a weapon. I was watching it with a friend of mine and my parents who liked wrestling. And my dad was like, people were saying, oh, he's going to get a steel chair. And I was like, no. If you know Triple H, you know he's not going to go outside and grab a steel chair. No. He grabbed his signature weapon, sledgehammer. And as he was coming back in with the sledgehammer, Sting had his signature weapon too, the baseball bat. And he kind of forced Triple H to drop the sledgehammer. And with the baseball bat, Sting used the baseball bat to point towards the Wrestlemania 30 sign. And Triple H is like, you want me in Mania? You're on. So verbal agreement. Sting nailed him with the baseball bat. Then came with the Scorpion Death Drop, laid Triple H out, and walked out. Now the segment was okay, leading towards, we all knew this match was going to happen eventually, but this is the first time we've seen it official on WWE television. They finally officially announced it. So we'll see how the build-up goes from here. But, this segment to lead towards the official confirmation of the match was decent. But we'll see more better segments from these two as we head towards Mania and a decent match that no one thought we'd see. Sting and Triple H. I know everyone would love to see Sting and Taker at some point, but Taker losing the streak is not as important anymore, but I would like to see Sting and Taker at some point. Especially since Taker may return soon. I'll get to that in a minute. But next up, we have, of course, the Divas title match. Nikki Bella taking on Paige. Now, one thing that NXT is way better on, so I keep promoting NXT, but I'm not the only one praising NXT like everybody is. And all the WWE superstars feel intimidated by it. The baby show, their sister show, that's a developmental show, is beating them for better shows. The tag team match, the only time I ever say that WWE's main roster outperformed NXT was the tag team title match tonight was way better than the tag team title match on NXT shows. The only time I'm ever going to say that. Because you have a great team with Tyson and Cesaro. The Divas, WWE's NXT division still has a leg up on the Divas. On the main roster, NXT Divas are still better than the WWE Divas. But it was an okay, decent match between Paige and Brie Bella, sister Nikki. I'm glad Brie kind of not got involved in the match. A little bit, didn't get really involved. And I think Paige could win the title again, but like I said, they need a big babyface diva. That's what they're missing right now. A big babyface diva to feud big time against the big bullies that are the Bella Twins. And Paige is doing a good job of trying to fill in the role of AJ since AJ's gone. Because she was a big over babyface diva. But they need to bring Charlotte in. Charlotte could do wonders with the Bella Twins. She could put on good matches. And she just lost the NXT Divas Championship to Sasha Banks. In a great match at NXT TakeOver. So, low game match, Paige trying to best with the big moves. Paige trying to go for a signature submission move, the BTO. The Paige tap out, but then Nikki went to the rope and then got the roll up and the pin and the victory. 2.2 for that match. It was just okay. Typical WWE Divas match, not competitive. It was okay, but still NXT's better in the Divas division. Now on to our next matchup. For the Intercontinental Championship, a reluctant Barrett took on Dean Ambrose. Now, we've been seeing Dean Ambrose pin with Barrett in an non-title match a few weeks ago, and Dean had to use drastic measures to make Barrett agree to this match. Barrett's been ducking him, and he kind of literally Dean Ambrose literally forced B&B's hand onto the contract. He got his hands tied up against the ring post on Monday. So Barrett would have to defend against Ambrose tonight. And I was like, they should have the match at Mania and have Ambrose win at Mania. So I knew there was be some sort of weird screwy ending to have. I think Ambrose deserves to win the title at Mania more than at Fastlane. And I think we're headed that route. The match was decent. It was a fun matchup despite the ending. Barrett looked pretty good in the matchup, and so did Ambrose. Ambrose was over with the fans. The fans tonight at Memphis were okay tonight. I think they were dead doing the Golden Stardust match because it started out sluggish. So they were dead doing that match. And so Ambrose got on the outside. There was some great moves on the outside. Ambrose he did like a close on the top and all that stuff. There's some great action with Wade going for all of his big moves. He went for Wasteland a couple times. He did nail Wasteland at one point. He nailed Winter Chains. He was going for the Bohem, but various points in the matchup, but Ambrose would duck it and go for his lunatic flinch. Clothesline a few times. Some fun moves in his matchup, some decent spots in his matchup. But then Ambrose got B&B in a corner and started punching. Referee was counting. And unfortunately, the referee counted to 5. Ambrose got DQ'd because he wouldn't break after the 5 count. He took the IC Championship because Wade Barrett tried to duck out of the match numerous times in the matchup. Wade tried to get counted out a few times. He tried to escape, but Ambrose wouldn't let him escape. He kept going at Ambrose, kept going at Barrett every time Barrett tried to escape. And then that's when, after the numerous attempts for Barrett to get counted out, that when Ambrose came in to beat him up, got him back in the ring, that's when he got him in the corner. And that's when he didn't break the referee's count. Nailed him with the IC Championship belt after the match. Nailed him with the Dirty Deeds. It took the IC belt with him. Literally stole the IC belt. Kind of a many ways stupid way, because it was like kind of a lame way to continue a feud. Like, I should have known that Ambrose was going to go on to probably win the title at Mania. But to have this match at Fastlane and kind of ended with like kind of a lame way with the referee disqualifying Ambrose for not breaking the count at 5. Kind of a weird way to end the match. But we'll see how it all leads up to Mania, because I like Dean Ambrose and he's been US champion before. But I think him being IC champion could do well for him. I've always said this about Ambrose. I didn't like him in the Shield at first. He was in the Shield, I didn't like him that much at first. But once he broke away from the Shield, he's had some great rivalries and great matches with Rollins and Bray Wyatt and now B&B, and I hope he wins the title at Mania, because it'll do well for his career. And if Ambrose does win the IC Championship, he should do something he did not do as US champion. Defend the title more! He didn't defend the US title at all, so he should defend the IC title more. 2.3. Took away a couple points for the screwy ending. We'll see how the Mania match goes. Speaking of WrestleMania, I talked about Bray Wyatt for a second. Bray Wyatt's been looking good for the last couple months. Trying to regain momentum after losing a bit of steam after losing to John Cena back at Extreme Rules. Actually, at Payback, he lost the match at Payback. So he lost momentum and regained some steam with some great matches with Dean Ambrose, often mentioned, and some great matches recently against Dolph Ziggler. They're grooming him for a match against Undertaker. We've seen the promos for the last couple of weeks about Bray calling somebody out but not mentioning his name. And we saw a promo last week at Raw. We saw him hammering something. It looked like a casket. So we saw the lights go out and the gong hit and Undertaker's theme hits. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about Taker's future in the company ever since losing to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30, ending the streak. Probably the most shocking moment of the year last year. It's about him looking old and all that. And does he got what he takes anymore? He didn't look that good in Lesnar's match. He looks old from pitches and speculation rounds about Taker's future. And there have been rumors about Taker taking on Bray Wyatt at Mania. But I think tonight, I think it clearly shows that they are going in that direction. That they are going to aim towards Taker and Bray Wyatt. Because we saw the Druids come out, gong hit, and there's a coffin. The coffin came out. And I think everybody, including myself, thought it was Taker in that casket. They opened the casket, open the casket? Bray Wyatt. I was like, brilliant. Brilliant way to play mind games on Undertaker coming out of the coffin and fooling everybody, including me. And Bray delivered a great promo. And that's what Bray Wyatt's big strength is delivering great promos. And especially the last couple promos have been great. And now this promo was really good about saying, I'm not fearful of the Undertaker anymore because he's a broken man. He's not the enigma that he once was. He's not the Fiend anymore. I'm the new face of fear. And at WrestleMania, I will officially bury the Undertaker. And I love he did that laugh and then he went back into the casket and closed the lid. So it's kind of like the way they did that too. So, there's been a lot of rumors. Like, Sting and Triple H was more rumored than Bray and Taker. Bray and Taker was like under the radar. Because everyone was uncertain about Taker's status. About him being able to wrestle, blah, 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 blah. But now apparently with the promos that Bray's been delivering, especially tonight, like I said, they're apparently full steam ahead, heading in the direction of Taker coming back to wrestle Bray Wyatt. Other Taker was going to make an appearance tonight. But I think Taker will make an appearance sometime in the next couple weeks. Maybe tomorrow on Raw. We shall see. But it looks like I said, all systems are go for Taker to return to WrestleMania against Bray Wyatt. Even though, yes, the enigma of the streak is gone. So we'll see what happens with Taker. I haven't seen him lately. I haven't seen any recent photos, but I know a lot of people have seen photos. But I'll see how he looks and wrestles. So we'll see what Taker does and looks like if we head towards Mania against Bray. But I hope it's a good match, though. It's got potential as long as Taker's healthy and all that. So there you go. Now on to our co-main event for the United States Championship. John Cena taking on Rusev. Of all the guys that has the best chance, that would have the best chance to beat Rusev, Cena in everyone's mind is the most obvious. Because he's Super Cena, he's Superman, he beats everybody. So tonight, Cena would have his work cut out for him to take on the undefeated Rusev. Now, I've been nagging about the fact that Cena's taking on Rusev for the title. Now, if it was not for the title, I would have been more happy with Cena winning, if that happened. But I didn't want Cena to win because I didn't want to be U.S. champion and end Rusev's momentum. I didn't want to bury Rusev like he did to Sandow and Bray Wyatt. Although those two guys are starting to regain momentum with Sandow's evident turn on Miz, and of course Bray Wyatt's momentum swing of late with great matches, and of course his feud with Taker coming out. The match between Cena and Rusev was slow going. These guys are both brawlers and not wrestlers, especially Cena. But it was a decent match. Rusev looked pretty decent against Cena. This is Rusev's most highest up match in his history as a singles competitor. He hasn't been high up in the card before, in the co-main position before. So Rusev using his strength against Cena and outpowered Cena. Like, they're both kind of the same weight. But I think Rusev's a little bit taller, though. He used that to his advantage with the big power moves. And, of course, Cena went for the 5 moves of doom. At one point, going for the SCFU a few times. And I like when Cena had the SCFU on Rusev, and Rusev just broke it off by just using his strength to literally break Cena's arms off and go for the accolade a few times. Like, Cena kept nailing him move after move, trying to nail the SCFU a couple times in the matchup, nailing the FU a couple times, and he just could not get that big guy down for the count of 3. And Rusev went a couple times for the accolade a few times. And at one point, he did get the accolade locked in. At one point, after Rusev kicked out of the AA, the FU, that's the only time I call it the AA. I never will call the AA what it is, the AA. I'll always call it FU. I always call STF, STFU. I hope people do that like me. So then, Cena, trying to use his strength to beat Rusev, and he was close a couple times, especially that when he nailed that FU out of nowhere, after Rusev tried to kick him a few times, that was the closest we got to Cena winning. Was that FU out of nowhere and got the one, like the near fall. That was like the closest thing to Cena ever winning. So Cena got set up by Rusev for the accolade a few times, and he got the accolade locked in at one point. And Cena's trying to get out of it. And Cena, like, trying to get his arms out of the hole, but then he got out of it at one point and trying to power Rusev against the post, which he did. But then Lana got involved in the matchup. Distracted the referee for a moment. The referee not looking. Rusev got a low blow on Cena. Got him set up again for the accolade. With Cena knocked out for the low blow, Rusev retained the IC, not the IC, but the US Championship. Now, every time I've seen Cena win a match or lose a match to somebody, it's always in a screwy way or a stipulation match. Like losing a cage match after a distraction from a little boy. You know, he's got the whole world in his hands at Extreme Rules in a cage match against Wyatt. The only time he ever beat Cena in their feud in a screwy way. You know, and also Cena losing his stipulation match, a contract match against Dean Ambrose. So we've seen, the only time Cena loses to people has been in kind of screwy ways. To make him not lose cleanly. Like what happened tonight with Rusev getting a low blow and after allowing distracting him. But at least Rusev retained the US Championship. I didn't want Cena to win. For two reasons. One, I didn't want Cena did what he did to Sandow and Bray Wyatt. Bury a guy when he's got a lot of momentum on his side and make the momentum go down for a bit. And two, more importantly, I want someone else to beat Rusev. Like Ryback. But I'm hoping Ryback does not have a match with like Big Show or Kane at the Wrestlemania. Because now you see Ryback and Rowan and Ziggler feuding against the Authority. So I hope to God that Ryback does not have a match with Kane or Big Show. He was heading towards a US title match at one point against Rusev until he got storyline fired. Lost his momentum a bit. But I hope that Ryback's the one to beat Rusev. Because I want someone new to beat Rusev. Like, Cena is the most obvious pick. I want someone else that no one expects to beat Rusev, and that's Ryback. And he could really benefit from it. It could really give him a big push. So I hope they still go for that. Rusev and Ryback in Mania for the title. Now that Rusev retained, there you go. 2.3 for the match. Now on to the second best match of the night. The main event. For the number one contendership to take on Brock Lesnar at the pay-per-view known as WrestleMania 31 in San Fran. Daniel Bryan against Roman Reigns. We all know how this match came about. Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble. People kind of knew about it. That he was aimed towards that position. Despite being injured and coming back from it just a month earlier. And he had so much fan reaction. Positive. But then after he came back, won the Rumble, people booed him. It was a combination of the fact that D-Bryan got eliminated too early. And the fact that D-Bryan kind of got screwed out of winning the Royal Rumble for the second year in a row after not being in it in 2014. And the fact he never lost the title by a pinfall. He got stripped of the title. So they wanted D-Bryan to win to get another chance at the title. So to appease the fans, they made this match between D-Bryan and Roman Reigns. Trying to give Roman Reigns a roadblock to literally fight to win his way back to the title match in Mania. And that's exactly what both guys did. Specifically, Reigns had more to lose than anybody. You know, he had thought he had won the title match, but then it literally, figuratively, had to re-earn it by fighting D-Bryan and prove all the critics wrong. I think he did a good job of it. Yes, he's still green, trying to find his way around and trying a good moveset for himself and still limited, but he did pretty well against D-Bryan. Because I've said about D-Bryan, he's one of the few guys with him and Punk in his category of guys who can put on a good match with just about anybody. And D-Bryan had a great match against Reigns because they had a great brawl to end Raw to hype up the match. And his match kind of lived up to that end of Raw brawl. Very athletic. It was more of a brawl, more of a fight than a match. It was just a very good match. Very exciting match. With both guys getting some good shots in. And there was like almost a low blow in the beginning of the match with Bryan nailing kind of low against Roman Reigns at first. But I don't think they didn't want another low blow finish. And knowing there was a big match, they just let it go. You know, punch the whip, kick the whips and all that stuff. It was kind of low, but then they brought out something ring a few times. Couple good spots in this match was Reigns had to really fight back after D-Bryan got a big kick. Kick to the kidney. Where, of course, Roman Reigns had his injury. You know, his hernia surgery. And he lost his composure for a bit. Because he was kind of groggy after getting kicked to the kidney. And D-Bryan really targeted the kidney a lot after that big initial kick to the kidney. And Wayne was kind of groggy, losing composure, but he came back strong with some big power moves. And he looked pretty good tonight. You know, he had to really earn his spot back and make WWE really have faith in him to really carry a match with Brock Lesnar. And I think he showed it tonight. The match against these guys were just tearing it up tonight and just beating each other up because they knew what was on the line. They knew a match against Brock Lesnar was on the line. And I love D-Bry, but I don't know how he would have done against Lesnar. You know, with his broken neck and everything. And they were just brawling away outside the ring. There was a couple of good spots outside the ring with Woodbrain setting up for a spear a couple of times. Even outside the ring, he was setting it up. And D-Bry nailed him against the steps. And it was just a big spot there. And D-Bry even nailed, like, both guys were going for their big moves. You know, Wayne tried a few times with Superman punch, missed. D-Bry nailed a flying knee once. And Wayne actually kicked out of that flying knee. And he was set up for the yes like a few times. I like one time when D-Bry had Wayne's in for an armbar, then turned it into the yes. That was a good transition there. And the kicks came in, and of course the flying moves. I think D-Bry nailed Wayne's with the flying move over to the middle rope 3 times in that match. 3 times. And big kicks and everything. Big insecurity kicks and everything. And the fans were split. You know, fans were cheering for D-Bry, fans were cheering for Wayne's. And as D-Bry, at the end of the match came when D-Bry was trying to set up for the flying knee again. And I was like, we're going to see D-Bry go for the flying knee, and then Wayne's would counter either a spear or a Superman punch. And it was the spear that came in to D-Bry as he was attempting the flying knee. Like I said, he went into the spear. 1, 2, 3, victory for Roman Reigns. Really had to fight to prove that he earned the spot. That's just the thing. The people thought that Wayne's won because he was handpicked, that he was groomed, that he was forced to be champion, forced to be the guy, blah, 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 blah. Wayne's had to prove to everybody that he earned that spot at the Royal Rumble by proving that he deserves it by fighting his way in this matchup. And that's what he did tonight. Still, he's got a lot to learn when it comes to great move sets and, of course, mic skills. But he proved pretty well against D-Bry. He looked pretty good tonight against D-Bry. Decent wrestling moves and, of course, his brawling style. So, he looked in the crowd didn't boo that much after he lost. You know, there was still some boos, but it wasn't as loud of a boo as it was in Philly. Because if Roman Reigns would have lost tonight, it would have been WWE's way of saying, sorry, Roman, we have no faith in you. We want D-Bry instead. So I'm kind of glad that Reigns won, though. And I love D-Bry. And I want him to be champ again. But I don't want D-Bry against Wayne. Against Lesnar. So. But let me say this. D-Bry carried the match. D-Bry was the guy that carried the match. But Reigns looked pretty good, too. But it's just because D-Bry carried the match. That was why it was a great match. Because, like I said, D-Bry can work a good match with just anybody. So. So they shook hands in the match. After the match, Reigns kind of celebrated the match. A 3.2 for this match. Like, it's a decent match. Like, the second best match in the card. So, anyway, these guys were just tearing it up tonight. And Wayne's kind of, I think, mostly on the spot tonight. Proved that he is the rightful guy. That he is the winner of the Royal Rumble. He gets the one-on-one shot against Lesnar. Now, there had been rumors about making a triple threat again with D-Bry in. I don't know if they're still going to go for it. And how they're going to insert Bryan back in to make it a triple threat again. At WrestleMania main event second year in a row. We'll see how that pales out. If they're going for the triple threat, like I've read, because I think they weren't going for it. They weren't going to go for a triple threat to relent to the fans' reaction. But then Vince kind of changed his mind about it. But now with Wayne's winning, and no screw ending, there was no double count out, which was pretty cool. It was clean finish and everything in the match. But we'll see if they do insert D-Bry back in. But if they go on to have Lesnar and Reigns one-on-one at WrestleMania, my prediction that I made during my Royal Rumble review will remain true. That I predict that Reigns will win at Mania, but they get cashed in on by Seth Rollins. Because you never had a WrestleMania cash-in before. So that's my prediction. That I'm sticking to it if they end up going all the way with the Reigns-Lesnar one-on-one match and not having a triple threat with D-Bry inserted. So there we go. On the World WrestleMania. 2 matches official tonight. Reigns and Lesnar. Triple H and Sting. And of course, seeds planted for Taker Wyatt, Goldust and Stardust. Dean Ambrose and Bad News Bets. So that's what this pay-per-view served. A purpose to build up for WrestleMania. Now, a lot of good matches, but still, a lot of build up for WrestleMania. That's what this entire pay-per-view served the purpose to. The build up and the prelude to WrestleMania. Once again, 6.5 on my review. Overall, the pay-per-view. That is it for that review. Thank you very much for watching. With that in mind, y'all been attacked by the review from Zach. See you all later. Yeah.